Good evening, and welcome to Indiana University Cinema's virtual screening room. Please note that for tonight's event, this introduction will feature live captioning. To turn on captions, all you need to do is move your mouse to the toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click on Live Transcript, then click Show Subtitle. If you have any issues accessing this feature, please feel free to ask a question using the Q&A box, which is also found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge and honor the Miami, Delaware, Potawatomi, and Shawnee people on whose ancestral homelands and resources Indiana University is built. My name is David Cordes, and I am the Events and Operations Assistant at IU Cinema. As always, we miss being with all of you in person, but we're so happy to have you with us virtually, and we hope you and your loved ones are staying healthy and well. On behalf of the entire IU Cinema team, we would like to thank you for being here for tonight's screening of the 1977 film Invisible Adversaries as a part of the Underground Film Series in partnership with the Media School. To introduce the film tonight, please welcome current PhD student at the Media School, Yilin Liu.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's screening of Invisible Adversaries. I'm Yilin Liu. I'm a PhD student at the Media School, and I'm excited to share with you the debut feature film by Austrian artist Valie Export tonight. So who is Valie Export? Born in 1940 to a single mother of three, Export is one of the most important avant-garde artists and filmmakers from Europe. Studying painting in Vienna in the late 50s, Export soon involved herself in the local avant-garde scene. During that time, Actionism, a performance art form that favors contingencies rather than narratives and challenges the barriers between the performance and spectators, dominated the cultural scene of Vienna. Export's art shares some similarities with Actionism. Both use human bodies as the material for artistic creation, and both want to use art not to reflect society, but to change it. What separates Export and Vienna Actionism is that Export is far more sensitive in the reality shaping power of media technology and how they construct the female bodies. In her performance, photography, and movie image works in the 60s, Export often staged female bodies in provocative ways in public to question how society subjugates women in both real life and in mass media. Touch cinema and genital panic were the two most iconic pieces of this period. In touch cinema, Export would transform herself into a mobile cinema by wearing a cardboard box with holes cut out in the front. She would then walk around Vienna and allow pedestrians to touch her breasts. If in cinema, male audiences can be a voyeur gawking at bodies of female film stars, now they can enjoy the quote-unquote real thing, but in public and being looked at by others. The voyeur thus becomes the object of others' gaze. In Genital Panic, Export would dress up like a freedom fighter, but with crotchless pants. She would then wield a toy machine gun and walk through rows of audiences in movie theaters in Vienna. Through this figure, Export subverts the formula that to sell a film, one only needs a gun and a girl. Now the girl with a gun walks out of the screen and is on a mission to raid the commercial cinema. These early performances by Export all highlighted how women were subjugated by the mass media. If women and the female bodies are constructed by media and the patriarchal society, then how women can truly express themselves without using the languages developed by men becomes a crucial problem for Export. The struggle happens on both the personal and the public fronts. On a personal level, as a first step to resist the hegemony, in 1967, Export changed her name from Waltraud Höringer to Valie Export as a gesture to renounce the symbolic order imposed upon her first by her father and later by her husband. Höringer is her ex-husband's family name. On the public side, Export saw her art as a way to forge a new language for herself and other women. By creating new ways to experience the world and to express oneself, art provides women ways to bypass or overcome the repressive society. As she writes in her Woman's Art, a Manifesto in 1972, Women use art, a quote, women use art as a means of expression so as to influence the consciousness of all of us. Let our ideas flow into the social construction of reality to create a human reality. So far, the arts have been created to be, to a large extent, solely by men. They deal with the subjects of life, with the problems of emotional life, adding only their own accounts, answers, and solutions. Now we must make our own assertions. We must destroy all these notions of love, faith, family, motherhood, companionship, which were not created by us, and thus replace them with new ones in accordance with our sensibilities, with our wishes, end quote. The film we are going to watch tonight, Invisible Adversaries, came out in 1977, sums up Export's artistic, political, and intellectual works during the 60s. The film was partially funded by the Austrian government. It premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival and won a special jury prize at the Venice Film Festival. With a sci-fi premise that aliens, the Hyksos, are taking over human bodies and possibly gradually conquering the world, Export's debut feature explores women's position in contemporary society. Just a side note, Export had never watched the sci-fi classic The Invasion of the Body Snatchers before she made the film, and she drew her inspiration of the alien figure from an art history course she took in college. Export co-wrote the film with her former partner Peter Weber, who also plays the male lead in the film, while using their intimate relationship as material. This is not a film about her and her lover. Rather, Export wishes to use this film to inject avant-garde sensibility into conventional cinema. By forging, quote, sophisticated polyphonic visual metaphors for various personal and psychic processes, Export wishes to use her films to change how we perceive our relationship with the world and others. Finally, I would like to thank the Underground Film Team and IU Cinema for making this event possible. Also, I would like to note that the film contains explicit content, including a depiction of self-harm. I hope you will enjoy tonight's screening. Thank you, and back to you, David.
Thank you, Elin, for that great introduction. The website for Invisible Adversaries will appear on screen momentarily. We will also be linking it in the chat for your convenience. Please note this web address must be entered into the web address bar at the top of your internet browser. It will not work if you type it into a search engine. There will not be a Q&A after the film tonight, but if you have any questions about accessing the film, our house staff will be monitoring the Q&A found at the bottom of your screen for the next 10 minutes. To all of you who tuned in tonight, thank you once again for being with us. Be well and be kind to yourselves and others. And most of all, have a great night.